podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Tyler.
And we have our guest here today.
Dr. Yoshi Newman.
All right, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I found out about the community liaison position at a community coffee chat.
Really?
Through, I think, the Water Resources Network offered these coffee chats. And at one of them, they showed a poster that had a description of the community liaison position.
Mm-hmm.
I read it, I thought, that describes me. I wasn't looking for a position, but it sounded really interesting to me. I talked with Grace about it, I talked with Tara about it, and applied, and sure, they brought me on.
Yeah.
That was in 2024.
Oh.
So I was part of the first cohort, and then they asked me to stay on now as part of the second cohort.
Okay.
The second cohort will be the end of the grant project.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, unfortunately, really unfortunately.
Right.
One of the things that we are discussing, though, is how to continue the work beyond the grant.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about finding funding. That would be really great.
Oh.
And maybe the faculty will be able to help us
Yes, ma'am.
somehow come up with some money, which I know is hard. I've really enjoyed the position. It's, like I say, I came to it because it described me.
Mm-hmm.
So it provides me a platform to, in a way, do what I've already been doing
Right.
for a long time, actually, which is environmental cleanup,
Yes, ma'am.
specifically focused on trash, along creeks, waterways, stormwater outlets, near the river particularly, along the greenway, parks, sometimes streets, because there's litter everywhere.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there
And
really is.
this is something that really bothers me.
Yes, ma'am. You see it especially after every football game.
Oh,
Down there at the bottom
yes.
of College Hill.
Yes.
Especially the waterways, cans, plastics.
Styrofoam somehow.
A lot of plastic, a lot of styrofoam, which comes from mostly carry-out cartons.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, and of the fast food things that I collect, most of it is from Bojangles. So one of the things I'd like to do is write a letter to the
Mhm.
corporate headquarters,
Mhm.
tell them what I do, tell them most of what I find out there is Bojangles trash, and ask them to label all of their cups and containers with "do not litter."
Right.
Big
Yes, ma'am.
noticeable things, because we have to keep educating people.
Right.
And hopefully, I mean, some people would notice that.
Do you think it's a lack of education or a lack of consideration when it comes to people who litter regularly?
I ask people that when I'm having conversations with them,
Mm-hmm.
and the answers fall within similar perspectives. One is, people just don't care.
Right.
They're lazy, they don't care.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what to do with I don't care.
Do you, when you come to talk to these people that litter, is it like you see them litter and you come to talk to them afterwards? Or is it like when you're doing events and they come up to you and you ask them, hey, do you litter yourself? And they say yes.
That never happens.
Well, I mean,
I
in
would
an
like to
ideal-
know. I
right.
really would like to know. No, it's, these conversations come up as I'm out doing cleanups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And when I'm at stores, I always carry my own bag, and so sometimes I talk with the checkout person
Mm-hmm.
and say, oh no, don't, I've got my own bag here.
Yes, ma'am.
And some stores that I go to often have gotten used to me doing that. But I've said, no, I don't use those bags, and I wish we could just get rid of them.
Right.
So I think it's important to invite people to participate.
Yes,
Say,
ma'am.
you could do this too. It'd be great if you did this.
Mhm.
Just start getting, these bags are everywhere.
Right.
Every store pretty much, I think, sells them pretty inexpensively.
Yes, ma'am.
They last a long time. So it would be great if you started using those reusable bags. Do you think you can do that? So I look at them and I ask them just like that. Do you think you could do that? And they have to stop and think about it. You don't know if people are, I mean, it maybe takes them aback and they don't really know how to respond.
Yes, ma'am.
But in
Right,
the moment,
yeah.
they'll say, well, yeah, that seems like something I could do.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Well,
after,
I remember at the farmers market event that we attended, how many people were just so happy to get a reusable bag to use instead of getting the paper and plastic bags from the other vendors.
right,
It-
right,
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
We were looking at the numbers, and you've told us this before, but trillions of plastic bags in circulation,
yeah.
Right.
and it would be so much more considerate if we all used a reusable bag. I have like 5 of them. But
Yeah, good.
I got to keep one in my car, or else I'll forget it.
And so I talked with someone about that. I said, the thing I hear from people is, oh yeah, I have them, but I forget to put them in my car, or
Yeah,
I forget
gotta
to take
store 'em in
them
the
out of
trunk.
my car. This
Yeah.
person told me, everybody takes their phone in the store, they take their method of payment, just get in the habit, take your bag.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think,
good
I think that would
point.
definitely be a great contributor. Is people would do it, especially if they get in the habit of it, but
Yeah.
they're just so used to having it at checkout that they don't feel the need to.
Yeah,
But yeah, just like you said, just getting in the habit of it to get to that point where we're all using reusable bags would be great.
yeah, I agree. It would be also helpful if stores would offer those to people.
Mhm.
Say, we do have reusable bags here as an alternative that cost $1.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to buy one of those?
Especially for $1, I think people would do it.
You think it
Yeah.
would be profitable for grocery stores to start selling their reusable bags and cut off the
Right.
pennies that they're selling for the plastic bags, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
So that's another letter to corporate headquarters. And I think that can be effective. So for example, I was buying eggs at Lidl from a family farm out of Nashville, which I think is like an hour from here.
Okay.
So small, like generations back, like 3 generations or so of egg farmers. I really like to buy local regional. They put the eggs in a plastic container
Mhm.
that had a plastic flip
Oh, I
over
know
to
exactly
cover
what
the
you're talking about.
eggs.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So lots of plastic. I emailed them and said, I really like buying your eggs, I like supporting regional family farms, I don't like your packaging.
Mm.
I would appreciate it if you switch to non-plastic packaging.
Right.
Recently, I went to Lidl and looked at eggs. Braswell Farms has switched to the cardboard packaging.
No way.
Yeah. So I think citizen involvement in this is important. It bothers you, take it to the next level, do something about it. It bothers you, we use reusable bags. We try to reduce our use of takeout cartons.
Mhm.
Write letters to corporate headquarters. I think possibly I was not the only person who wrote Braswell Farms. I have another product that I like this product. I don't buy it often because they use a lot of plastic.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna email them, same thing,
Mhm.
and say, I'll be watching to see if you reduce your plastic packaging.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I can promote your business. I can talk
Right.
with others and promote your business as an environmentally responsive. There's a lot of terminology now that I think needs to be clarified. Some of it's greenwashing, maybe making people think it's environmentally responsible and it's really not. So here's a good example, not in an environmental way, but I
Mhm.
bought some this coffee that was labeled Jamaican coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
It only has to be 5% Jamaican coffee.
Oh, really?
No. It's like, no, I wanted Jamaican coffee, right? No.
It's like the Tic Tacs with them being less than a gram of sugar, so they're sugar free. But a Tic Tac doesn't weigh more than a gram,
Yeah. Oh.
even though they're mainly sugar.
Those kinds of things, a little bit of, yeah. So
Ah.
I do think that people changing their habits, people asking corporations
Mhm.
to change how they do business, particularly packaging, and holding them accountable for actually, like when I said I could tell Braswell Farms, now I can promote your eggs as an environmentally responsive. You can tell people
Mhm.
they used to use a lot of plastic packaging, but when they realized how harmful that is, because we need to get to zero plastic.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
There are some companies that now advertise zero plastic. Those companies are called B Corp. If you don't know what a B Corp is, look up B Corp.
Right.
Yeah, it's a designation that goes through rigorous testing and certification review and meets the highest standards in every category of workers' rights, work environmental safety, social responsibility, on and on and on.
Yes, ma'am.
So whenever possible, it's great to do business with a B Corp.
Okay,
And-
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Right, that's
and
a good point.
there aren't a lot of them.
Mm.
So, but just look on the packaging. On packaging, you'll see all these little labels and things, and sometimes you know what they mean, sometimes you don't. But if it has a B and a circle, that's B Corp.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of them is it's zero waste.
Mm.
So glass, you can reuse.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of this with the trash, it's trash awareness, prevention, I could say / reduction and cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with individuals changing their habits.
Mm.
And as I said, contacting those companies that they like to do business with.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't eat at Bojangles ever,
Mm-hmm.
but I see that trash. So in this case, I'm reaching out to a company that I don't support, but bringing an issue to them.
Right.
Do you think a big issue of it is that people aren't using their voice anymore, and they're being just more compliant with how companies like this are behaving?
I think people just don't think about it. These are just automatic behaviors that people engage in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other answer that I get from people when I talk with them about litter and trash. They just don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, a few people say they just don't think about it.
Okay.
And they're not aware. They're not aware and respectful of others and themselves. Now that was a very interesting answer.
Mm.
Is it's respecting others and yourself.
Yes.
To me, that suggests you've got a moral compass of sorts that includes an environmental ethic. I think that we have to reach kids.
Right.
I like to think of myself as an optimistic person, but there's times I don't feel very optimistic about adults.
Yes, ma'am.
I think kids are so open-minded and eager. If we can reach kids, they can grow up being exposed to an environmental ethic and having a moral responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Because we wouldn't be in the situation we're in if adults had those qualities, right?
Right.
But were you taught that? Like in school, or did your parents talk about that?
I feel like I watched my sister pick up trash everywhere, and my dad's also
Good.
been very adamant about keeping trash off roadways. There's been multiple times where we've just stopped on the side of the road and picked up just trash that needs to go to the landfill because no one else is going to do it.
Oh, yay, that makes me so happy. It's like, here we are, we've got an environmental cleanup champion.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, those are the kinds of actions that can make a difference because people see you out there.
Right.
I mean, if you were kids out there doing this, it's like, wow, that's amazing. I think that's what people would think.
But I think you're 100% right with the moral compass because you wouldn't trust an environmental engineer that you see throw his soda on the ground.
That is true.
Right. So that's what I'm really committed to and have been able to do through the Water Resources Center. But an important piece of it was having the affiliation with the university. So I can, when I'm talking with people, I can say, I'm a community liaison with the ECU Water Resources Center.
Yes.
So that has credibility to it. I think it also is a positive thing for ECU.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It provides a cleaner image.
Yes.
Literally.
I see
Yeah.
what you did there.
Yeah, it's all about their imaging, yeah. Well, they want to have a positive impact on the community.
Right.
As they
So
should.
the very fact of, what is a community liaison? And I'm so thankful for Dr. Moisey writing the grant, and if there were other principals involved in that part of that idea and goal for the grant was this bridging of science to the community.
Right.
And that it was going to take people from the community to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was, that's been really great. Once this position ends and I continue to do what I do, what I'll be using as, to try to express some credibility to people is being on the board of the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust.
Yes, ma'am.
And what we do is, our slogan is saving the lands we love.
Right.
We work in 17 counties in eastern North Carolina. There are assessments done by the National Heritage Foundation and by a couple of staff members to look at various properties. Some of those come to our attention through private owners who would rather sell it to a conservancy organization rather than developers.
Yeah.
Some of these lands really are prime development properties.
Yeah.
Our most recent, well, one of the most recent was the south end of Topsail Island.
Really?
Interesting.
About almost 500 acres of the south end, which was the only undeveloped part of it.
Really?
Developers were looking at that
Yes, ma'am.
with
Right.
billions of dollars in front of their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say with the Coastal Land Trust that a lot of the offers you get are people trying to sell to you because they don't want it to be developed, or do you think it's mainly like some areas that you guys see and you want to make sure that no development happens?
Both.
Both?
So the National Heritage Foundation rates properties based upon their ecological, cultural, and historical values. So we look at the properties that are on they call them the top 40 list,
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
and those within eastern North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a great organization to be a part of. I've learned a lot, and so that's been a really good experience, and it feels so good to be able to save these really, valuable, precious lands.
Right.
Forever. Nothing can ever be done on those properties.
Really?
I think that's a nice touch on it too, is especially getting something like 500 acres and that no one can do anything on it is
Right.
astonishing.
Well, locally, A Time for Science was started by John and Nancy Bray. They purchased about between 600 and 700 acres out in Grifton.
Right.
A lot of it wetlands, but not all of it. A lot of it very beautiful forested area, 5 ponds, and some of it they turned over to a conservation easement to the Coastal Land Trust. I think 400 some acres of it. The other 200 and some is the Nature Center, which has nature paths and people can go fishing, there's kayaking, and people can camp out there.
Right.
And it's maybe, well, it is definitely one of the most popular school field trip locations.
Sounds like fun.
Bus loads of kids come out there, and I think like 10,000 kids last year.
Oh, wow.
So it's, those kinds of opportunities for kids to get out in nature, experience it. I like to think, fall in love with it.
Yes, ma'am.
If people love the environment, I would hope they wouldn't trash it.
Yeah.
And they would actually do what your family did, is get out there and take care of it. I call that earth tending. When you love someone, I'm thinking particularly like a parent to a child,
Right.
you tend to that child. If you have a partner and you want it to be a good relationship, I think you should also tend to your partner. So it's tending to something in a loving way.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to see people have the opportunity to fall in love with the earth.
Absolutely. Need more campers.
That is so true.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the nice thing about camping out at A Time for Science is you're not crammed in real close to other campers, which is what I see in a lot of other campgrounds.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's real nice and private out there.
Yes, ma'am. Do you mind if I ask you, I know we've kind of been talking about this the whole time, but if you could get all your votes in and have all the officials make the decisions that you want, what would an environmentally responsible community look like in your eyes?
I think we could look at other communities that would meet that description. And at one time, I saw Boulder, Colorado as an example.
Really?
Boulder.
They
Interesting.
knew this is an environmentally pristine area and we don't want it ruined. So they established development limitations.
Okay.
Development necessarily brings with it change,
Mm-hmm.
some of it good, some of it not good,
Yes, ma'am.
environmentally and otherwise. So I advocate with city council and county commissioners that when they're looking for economic development opportunities, which we have to have that in order to get more tax dollars.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not anti-development.
Mm-hmm.
We need tax dollars for schools, for
Right.
first responders, for streets, all of those things.
Yes, ma'am.
Safety, all very important. But I believe we can do that in a balanced way.
Mm.
We need to have regulations and ordinances such that developers and contractors don't acquire a piece of property that's heavily wooded and just clear cut flatten it.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That is devastating destruction of that ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Plant.
Yes, ma'am.
So I would say a community would have respect for the preservation of clean air, clean water, clean soil, clean place for people to live,
Beautifully said. Yes, ma'am.
including access to clean food.
Especially, I know that I would love to see more farmers markets.
Mhm.
I especially love the one that the WRC went to, and it was lovely. Fresh food, fresh meat, produce, everything there just
Yeah,
it just tastes different than the store.
yeah.
Like oddly
Right.
enough, I buy local honey, and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it just helps so much,
yeah.
like, especially with allergies.
Mhm.
I didn't know that, local bees and the honey, something about the pollen in the air, it's just, it helps my nose a lot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And
Some
what I
benefits.
enjoy too about the farmer's market is talking with the growers.
hmm
They're so proud of what they've done.
Yes, ma'am.
They work really hard, you
Right.
know? I
They
mean,
do.
I bought this bag of potatoes last year from this older couple,
Mhm.
and it's like, wow, planting these potatoes, I think you have to do it by hand, maybe a machine can do it.
Mhm.
But, harvesting those potatoes, washing them, because people don't want dirt on their food. That's another thing they've told me is they have to make sure produce is clean. A lot of people don't understand their food grows in the soil,
Yes,
potatoes are
ma'am.
gonna have some dirt on them. Clean them, so they have to sell clean potatoes, and then they've got them in this really attractive packaging,
Right.
and they take so much
Mm.
pride in that.
Yes, ma'am.
That is a completely different experience than going to the grocery store and buying some potatoes put in a plastic bag.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
And I know my money's going to a really good cause,
Mm-hmm.
helping more people get fed.
Yeah, yep.
Well, as we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to say about just what you think in immediate action some people could do to help recycle and conserve?
Mhm. Some people might say, they haven't said it to me, but sometimes I think it myself. What does all this trash cleanup really accomplish?
Right.
There's so much trash, it's so pervasive. What does it really accomplish? Well, on that day, in that place, I've taken something really filthy and made it as clean as I can. That's really satisfying for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Really satisfying for me. I can continue to do that, plan on doing it today. When I'm on my bike on the Greenway, I'm looking for those hot spots.
Yes, ma'am.
And especially the hot spots that I can access. So there's places in the creeks that lead to the river that on the other bank, there are these awful single-use plastic bags that I rail against that have gotten stuck in the scrub and trees, and they're starting to shred into pieces.
Mhm.
I keep trying to figure out how can I get to those? How can I get to those?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it really bothers me. But it comes down to every person has to decide, how important is this to you? is this enough of a priority? Do you love the earth enough that you'll find a way to love it right where you live?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is a great quote.
So we hope our listeners find passion and love for the earth. Thank you so much for listening to the Water We Share podcast, and we'll see you for our next episode.
What a great ending!
Awesome!
What a great ending!